For years I kept a notebook full of pictures of the things I love. Torn out pages, scraps of paper, wrought iron.
Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I have been altering some playing cards. I love the way they turned out. If you want to see how I did these, I decided to do one on camera, so stay tuned. In the last fun pack, there were quite a few really pretty playing cards. That pack had a nature sort of farmhouse theme. So there are some vintage cards with flowers. We have the mushrooms, a couple of different things. So I went ahead and altered 3 playing cards. We had the duck and the Union Jack. I love the way these turned out, and I love the whole concept of altering playing cards. However, there have been times where I felt challenged with this because a lot of cards are coated in plastic and things don't stick. You can spray stains on and they end up beading up, and they don't really soak in. So I used a piece of sanding paper to get some of that finish off, but I did it strategically. The desk is a mess, my hands are a mess, but while have such a mess going on, while we're doing this, I thought I would go ahead and do one on camera. So this is one of the pretty cards with the flowers. It's an ace. I love seeing the little symbols, like the different suits and the different cards. I definitely want to keep the image in the center. I love those, the flowers there in the center. But sanding around the edge gives it kind of an old look. You could sand lightly across the center if you wanted to go ahead and age it a little further. And then what I've been doing is taking a piece of paper to cover up what is in the center that I don't want to get messed up. And I have some different mica stains, these distress mica stains. They're by Ranger, and what colors? Decayed, Crooked Broomstick. A lot of mine are the Halloween colors. So we will go with let's go with Decayed, because it's more just a metallic color. And honestly, I wish I had some different colors for this, but I'm going to go with what I have just to show you what I've been doing here. And let's move our little embellishments out of the way. So just spray a little bit of color, a little bit more right up there in the corner. And then just lift off that piece of paper, and you have some color around the edge, and then I have been drying it. And if you end up with a spot that just is not quite dry enough for your taste, and you want to take a little off because you got too much, you can definitely just dab that with a napkin or something. I don't know if you can see how pretty that is on camera. I just love the way those drops kind of seep into the card. The mica stains are really pretty. I love the way this turned out. Now you can get as dimensional as you want to with these cards, which is one of the things that I really love. Where did that little piece of, here it is. We happen to have a little piece of fabric here that's just a corner shape. So I'm going to use that so that we don't waste it. Oh, I see there's kind of a leaf on one side. That's part of that little table scarf. So we'll make sure that shows. It's more raised on one side than it is the other. So I'm going to put some tacky glue on there, and let's put this right here in the corner. Another thing that I'm going to use, I love the little paper labels that come off of the vintage bobbins. And I'm going to take one of these, add some glue to the back. We're going to use a brad to make it look like the brad is holding it down, but really the brad would slip through, you know, with the right kind of movement or whatever, because it's about the same size as the circle in the middle of the this label. And then I'm going to take my awl, which I'm so happy to have back. It was lost for a while. I'm going to go ahead and punch a hole right there through the center, and it's okay if that label moves around a little bit. So let's put that brad through there, and I'm going to kind of move well, I don't even need to move the bobbin. I was going to say I'm going to move it so the edge of it is under the the bobbin label, under the brad, but you don't have to. And we're going to make sure the brad is turned where the metal is not hanging off of the card in the back. You could use, this is sort of a medium-sized brad. They make ones with the smaller wings or whatever on the back. And one more thing I would like to put on the front here is a little butterfly. We could distress this a little bit. You don't have to. I'm gonna put a little bit of, oops, my brush is already over here. I'm gonna put a little bit of coffee stain around the edge of this one, because these die cuts, which I absolutely love, they're the little butterfly die cuts from the Dollar Tree, but they do have a little bit of white background around the edge. I trim part of it off, and then I do use some distressing to kind of cover up the rest of it. So that's what we've got on this side so far. And then if we turn it over, I'm going to do the same thing we did on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and sand quite a bit of it. And to cover up this brad, I'm going to take a little square of paper tape. We don't need a whole lot. I love this stuff. It's very heavy duty. The paper on this side that we're seeing is the finish, is paper, and it's like a nice craft paper, so it's very pretty in junk journal projects. So let's go ahead and I think I put glue the last time I used it, but this activates with water. I don't know, should we put a little bit of both? I can't remember what I did on the last one. I think I glued it, honestly. But this stuff sticks really nicely if you're using it, especially on just paper. I'm adding the glue for the extra holes since we're putting it on a playing card. But it's very, very sticky on the back. Once you put water on it, it sticks nicely to paper. And then I'm gonna take this Stays On Jet Black and stamp some text on that paper part to give it a vintage look. And then I think what I want to do with the rest of this is put some glue down, and let's take this piece of napkin that I've cut and pull these different layers apart, because you want just the top layer, and I just put a little bit of glue on each finger to try to pull them apart. I'm so annoyed with myself. I left this laying out all night last night with Mod Podge in it. So it has seen better days now. It's really stiff, but I am gonna try to clean it. I like this brush. I'm gonna lay this down on here. And obviously it's not gonna stick everywhere because I didn't put glue everywhere. We could add, honestly, we could add a little bit of water where we want it to tear, and get it to pull away right there without tearing in a way that we don't want it to. And around the edges, it's easier to get it to come off because you've got the card you're pulling against. And we can go back with scissors. And I think I want to leave that ace showing. So I'm just going to tear part of the paper away there. And that's really pretty. Maybe I want the diamond part showing a little bit too. And then let's come over here. Trim that edge. Part of that paper folded over and stuck, and I'm okay with that. Let's just leave that there. And of course that's going to dry. We can come back and add some paint splatters. So there's some on the little paper there. And we could also put a few on the front. That's really pretty. And there is that one. I really love how that turned out. And it's going to be a little bit raised there under the paper where we've got the brad folded back, but that is fine. Again, you can get as dimensional as you want to with these. Even game pieces, and I'm not talking about something the size of, dice or anything like that, but the flat game pieces. Sometimes you see little chipboard bingo pieces or whatever. It's okay to have some dimension to these. And this is what we've ended up with. We have the beautiful mushroom with the Ranger mica spray around the edge, and we've got this paper from a vintage bobbin. On this side, we have some heavy paper from some packaging tape. This one doesn't have a lot on this side. I could definitely add more. And then this one is fun. We have the duck on the front and some bright colors and white splatters. We do have some of the green mica spray. I wrote, "You really need your ear." And when we turn it over, we have an image of Van Gogh, and that was cut from some packaging. We have a little fish that's been decoupaged from a napkin, and we have part of a vintage ad. And on each one, I've written birdsong. And then the one we just made, of course, this vintage paper from the bobbin. We have a butterfly, a piece of fabric, a napkin that's been decoupaged, and then the paper from the packaging tape. And on this one, we have the Union Jack with a butterfly, which kind of represents freedom. I couldn't resist putting a boot on this side, and we've got the boot written here. And I was thinking about when the colonies decided that they were going to give the king the boot and say, we want freedom from this taxation and religious persecution and everything that was happening. So that is the set of 4 cards that I've altered. These are actually in the Ko-fi shop if you would like to purchase these. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll be back soon. Bye for now.